Well, hello, everyone. This is Roger Connect, president of Universal Accounting Center, and I'm excited to have here today with us Billie Anne Griggs. And Billie is someone that I've known for a little while. She happens to be a graduate of Universal Accounting Center who has started and built her own successful accounting practice. Back in 2012, she started with what's called Pocket Protector Bookkeeping. So that's a very appropriate name. She has a number of accolades, a variety of things that she's done in her career to excel in accounting and bookkeeping, but most recently has just now teamed up with and is working for Profit First Professionals. And I know Mike and I know Ron, and I'm excited that Billie Anne, that you're over there. So in the course of this dialogue, I'm excited to share with everyone a little bit of your history, some of your accomplishments, and most importantly, some words of advice that you might have for everyone as they're pursuing their careers in accounting, bookkeeping, and tax. So first of all, welcome to this conversation, Billie Anne.
Thanks so much, Roger. Thank you for having me here.
Well, it's my honor. My intent with this is to obviously help people realize what potential they have in their own careers and what it is they can achieve. You've done so much. I mean, your path, your career path has been one that I'm sure has had ups and downs, but let's go ahead and share with everyone some of the things that you've done to kind of achieve what you have today. So just going back a few years, what got you into the accounting profession? What kind of excites you about it?
Oh gosh, what excites me about it? I love cash flow and I love helping small business. So I actually did not start out as an accountant. I didn't go to school to be an accountant. I was thinking about going to pharmacy school when I kind of stumbled into bookkeeping. I was pregnant with our first child at the time. That's 18 years ago now, more than 18 years ago. And I was working in a pharmacy and I was having a very hard time being on my feet all day in the pharmacy as a pharmacy tech. So my boss loved me and he said, I don't want to let you go. I don't want to lose you. I have this mess going on in the back office with my books. Let's see what you make of it. And that started my love of bookkeeping. It all just kind of clicked at that point. So I went from having a science background to having a numbers background. And like I said, that was actually probably it was about 19 years ago now that happened. I worked for a variety of small businesses over the years. And in 2012, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur because I never intended to have my own business. But I had a partial layoff from my job and my boss at the time was amazing. And she said, you know, I know this is hard on you and your family. I know some people who need help with their bookkeeping. Would you be willing to start taking on clients? So that's how I started with having a business as a bookkeeper.
Well, first of all, I think it's something that a lot of people can relate to. Many people share with me similar stories where they get into their careers, they get out of high school, college, take on opportunities, and in those responsibilities end up being given accounting roles. They office managers or whatever the case may be, to the point that they find that they enjoy it, they love it, they like it, and people start commenting like you were receiving compliments of you're good at this, you look like you're helping, you're doing better than other people have done. And so they start to realize with those accolades, you know what, maybe this is something I ought to be doing more seriously, more regularly. And whether it be like you, where it just kind of naturally evolves into this entrepreneurial opportunity for you to have your own practice, or if it may be just through some training opportunities and career advancement opportunities, they find themselves becoming more and more an accounting professional. I think a lot of people can relate to that. But one of the things that I thought was really important is the fact that you really didn't consider yourself at first to be an entrepreneur. What do you think changed in your mind as you started to realize that you were now becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, one of the first things that I did is when I determined that, okay, this is the direction that I'm going to go. I have a couple of clients under me now. I really want to grow this thing. I went looking for a bookkeeping certification program and something to also help me. I see that. Something to also help me to gain confidence, because even though I had worked in small businesses, I didn't know that I had what it took to manage multiple clients. That's how I found Universal Accounting Center and the Professional Bookkeeper program there. That was instrumental in me. It reaffirmed that I had the skills, but it also got me excited about the possibility of doing bookkeeping for a number of clients and actually having my own business rather than just being a freelancer for several different businesses, which is kind of how I started out.
Well, one of the things that I think you can relate to is the fact that you had the experience, you had the background, but like a lot of people, they came to the Professional Bookkeeper program to confirm that they in fact did know what they were doing. A lot of people don't have that formal training or education. And so to get that Professional Bookkeeper designation kind of solidifies you're actually good at what you're doing. You have the skill sets that you feel you have, because a third-party entity has tested and proven that you in fact do know the bookkeeping process. One of the things about the Professional Bookkeeper program, for those that don't know, is it's meant to show in the accounting profession that someone's proficient in the day-to-day applications of accounting in small business. And so you're a professional bookkeeper, and I can see how that obviously helped you. So the question I would have then is, when you started offering bookkeeping services, what additional services did you feel complemented your offerings to your clients?
I started out just your typical bookkeeper. And whenever somebody would ask me, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a bookkeeper. But really what my passion was cash flow. So I was looking for things to complement that, because that's where I felt like I could really help these small businesses. Small business owners have one thing in common, and it's that they are perpetually short on cash. And they think that the solution is they just need to grow their business faster. So I was looking for the way to help them. And I started the way that most accountants and bookkeepers would do. And I would do cash flow projections. And so I would have these wonderful projections and spreadsheets that I would cover with the client. The client would get really excited about it. And this, I keep saying client, this was back when I was employed too. My bosses would get really excited about this. And then, the end of the quarter would roll around and they'd say, where's all this cash you said I was going to have? And I said, well, you didn't follow the plan. And the complaint was perpetually, I can't be looking at a spreadsheet every single day. I can't be looking at these reports whenever I'm making decisions for my business. I need something simpler. And that's when I found Profit First, that as the something simpler that a business owner could implement in their own business, and really understand how their cash works in their business. And I could help them understand it in a way that made sense.
Well, you've brought up Profit First, and so what I'd like to do is I want to go in different directions with this, because I think it will bring us back to what it is you're now doing with Profit First and how that's helping your practice. So let me kind of go two ways. First, I'd like to ask, so as you were starting your practice, as you were in the process of taking on new clients, what advice would you first have for someone who's also starting to go out on that entrepreneurial journey and do what we call becoming an accountrepreneur? I think it's a unique journey. You went on it. What advice would you have for someone starting there? And then my second question will be, what do you tell as advice to someone who already has an established practice and how they can actually take their firm to that next level? So let's start with question number one. What advice would you have for someone just starting out and they're beginning this journey, whether it be part-time or full-time, of acquiring clients?
Just starting out, our inclination is to accept anyone as a client who has a checkbook and is willing to pay us. I wish in retrospect that I had been pickier from the very beginning about what clients I took on. At the time, I just wanted to grow the business. And because of that, I overextended, offered to be everything to everyone. So there's a lot of focus today on niche specialization, be it in an industry or a certain type of client. And I thought, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to rule out any potential business. Looking back, I wish that I had, because I could have served those clients even better. So number one, determine who you want to serve and aggressively go after those clients. Number two is charge what you're worth. Don't charge what you think somebody is willing to pay you, because you will always underestimate what someone is willing to pay for good bookkeeping and accounting services.
That last piece of advice is very, very good. I think too often people are so eager to acquire a client, they'll do almost anything to get the client. And your point of you took on clients that you shouldn't have, whether it be you overextended yourself or you did things, offered services that really you weren't excited to do. Either way, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a position that you're just creating a mess. And so you're not working on the business, you're working in it. You're just basically creating jobs for yourself. So that's really good advice. So let's go to the second part of this. You obviously have a thriving, successful practice. You're up and running. You've kind of maneuvered through the minefield of the starting of the practice. So imagine I'm now in a successful firm. I have a practice. I maybe have a partner or employees. I have a client base. What advice would you have for me to take my firm to that next level and help me become that better accountant, what we refer to at Universal Accounting of becoming the premier accounting service in your market, and how Profit First may play into that?
Yeah, you have to have a differentiator. You have to be doing more than just offering the basic accounting. And we know how important it is to have good, accurate records. But what our clients, what business owners are really looking for is advice on how to make their businesses better. I know a lot of bookkeepers and accountants who think we're not qualified to make that kind of, to give that kind of advice. And we're probably the most qualified people there are to help our business owners and our clients become more profitable. You have to have some sort of premier offering, be it cash flow, be it, technology. I know some bookkeepers who are focusing really heavily on technology right now and becoming technology consultants. But just having something that sets you apart, that makes you more valuable than the person who produces the financial statements.
I love it. So one of the things that we're a very big proponent of here at Universal Accounting is within the accounting profession, we have to recognize that because of technology, like you brought up, especially artificial intelligence, AI, we're finding that with softwares and technology, accounting as a role is moving more and more away from the historical reporting of what's happening into real-time accounting, what's going on right now, and being accurate. But it's even taking a step further beyond that, and it's being now the proactive or predictive part of things. And that's the consultative role. It's helping the client, the business owner, have access to more real-time and accurate data to make intelligent business decisions. And if you can see yourself as that accounting professional, not just providing the financials and the historical information, but also now helping them further use that information to make business appropriate business decisions, you're now becoming much more a player, a strategic advisor in your clients. And so the idea of client retention becomes much easier only because of the fact that you're now more involved with your client's success. So that leads me to the next question. How does the Profit First program, becoming more of a consultant, help you in finding new clients? How does that help from a marketing point of view?
From a marketing point of view, just the name itself, Profit First, I think everybody's kind of about, yeah, Profit First, that sounds pretty good. But from a marketing standpoint, you can be the best person in the world at explaining things. And there's something about financial statements and reading financial statements that seems to befuddle a lot of business owners, even with somebody walking them through it step by step. What Profit First is a way to let a business owner quickly, just by looking at their bank accounts, see how their business is doing and see how much money they have. So traditionally, and I've seen this so many times in my employment days and also in my practice, I would tell a client, you can't afford to go out and buy this thing for $10,000. And the client says, but I don't know why I can't afford this thing because I have $15,000 in my bank account. What they don't understand, or what they're not thinking of at that time, is you might have $15,000 sitting in your bank account, but $10,000 of that is going to payroll next week, and you don't have $10,000 of sales coming in. So, but they don't think that, and they're not going to stop, and they're not going to look at their financial statements and their cash flow projections, but they will look at their bank account every single time. And that's how most of them make their decisions. So what we do with Profit First is set up a way for them to use that natural behavior of looking at their bank account and spending what's there to help them grow their business, so they're not making those costly mistakes, and also so they're not spending all of the money as fast as it comes in. So we kind of we hide, if you will, some of that money for profit. So they aren't spending all of their money. We set aside or hide some of the money for their taxes. So when tax time comes around, very common thing that I hear, I think there's something wrong with my books because it says that I have $25,000 in profit for last year and there's only $2,000 sitting in my bank account. And how am I going to pay the taxes on this? Because, I don't have that cash. So, those sort of things that eliminate those pain points before they even arise is exactly what Profit First does. And differentiating yourself as a Profit First professional, as someone who will help your clients become more profitable from their very next deposit, is a huge, huge way to leverage and market your business.
Wonderfully said. I really believe here at Universal Accounting, what we're doing to help our graduates distinguish themselves as being more than just the traditional bookkeeper accountant is huge. What we've always prided ourselves on here at Universal Accounting is empowering our graduates to be able to differentiate yourself, as you said, in the accounting profession as being someone more than just that traditional accountant or bookkeeper, because there's a stigma about it. So from a marketing point of view, when you're able to go out there and say that you're a certified professional, someone that is certified as a Profit First professional, you're able to say something that then I think conjures up an intrigue of the business owner to say, I've never heard that before. What is that? What does that mean? What kind of services do you provide? And it helps further a discussion in a natural way so that the business owner can actually now show interest in what you're now offering and ask questions about it. So now the next question then is, how has Profit First helped you retain clients? The big game with running and operating a successful firm is finding new clients, but also retaining those that you're already working with, showing them continually this added value to their current business model so that they want to then continue paying you for your services. So what have you found that Profit First does for you that enables you to retain them as clients?
Yeah, we have very, very low client attrition in our firm, which is wonderful. And part of that is because we can point to the client's performance year over year and say, look at how your profit is growing. But the really great thing is we don't have to point that out. The client can see it for themselves. We don't have to have that. I hear a lot about you have to remind your client of your value. That's awkward and not something that I would feel comfortable doing myself. But with Profit First, with something that helps them to grow their profit and to see how they're becoming more profitable year over year, that's a great way to keep clients with you, beyond just, you do a good job and my tax accountant doesn't have any complaints at year end when they do the tax return.
Very good. Well, the way I would also add to that is when you're looking at client retention, they're obviously trying to see what added value you're bringing to the company. And what Profit First does is it allows them to now intelligently and proactively manage their funds and their accounting information. And when so many business owners run their business from a cash flow point of view, at least that's how they're thinking, obviously Profit First kind of slips into there and naturally complements that whole thought process. So that's great. With regards to bringing in additional revenue, when you added Profit First as a service to your already existing clientele or to your already existing firm, bringing that on as a service, how did that increase either the revenues you were bringing in or perhaps the average revenue per client? What could you share there about that?
Average revenue per client went up from about $150 per month to close to $400 per month when I brought on Profit First services. I was still holding down 2 part-time jobs when I was growing my business. Within a few months of becoming a Profit First professional and leveraging that in my business, I was able to quit both part-time jobs. One of them became a client, but the other one I could just let go by the wayside. So it's very high-level consultative services that we're offering as Profit First professionals. We can actually show, because we have a model in Profit First of setting aside a certain percentage of your revenue, your real revenue, for profit, how historically your business has performed at this point. If you implement Profit First with my guidance, your profit will be this amount after, a year or even a year and a half. At that point, when they see that dollar amount, you can charge a very nice amount to help them get there. They see it. You're not selling a program at that point. You're not selling a deliverable. You're selling a result. And clients really want that result. I think a lot of times we get too hung up in, here are the deliverables that we're giving you, Mr. Client. And while the client does care, it's not as powerful as selling a result. And that result is a fix to their pain point and increased money in their bank account.
Well, there's three things that we always tell people that they need to be focusing on, and it's more money in the bank is one of those three. So you're being able to help a client achieve that. It's a real thing. I mean, it's something tangible. They're able to see those funds in there. So to be able to say, from a cash flow point of view, your job is to increase the funds that are available for them to run their business. That's a big deliverable. So good job there. Here's the other thing I'd like to ask. Accounting as a profession has changed since you first started in 2012. Technologies are getting better. The artificial intelligence now is becoming a new player in the scheme of things. What do you see changing, or what do you see happening for practicing accountants like yourself with clients? What might you think is going to take place in the coming years? Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah. Well, first, let me address the fear. And the fear that I hear from a lot of bookkeepers and accountants is our jobs are going away. Our clients aren't going to need us anymore because everything's going to be automated. And I say nothing is further from the truth, because these automations are not flawless. They're not perfect. What I have found is my analytical skills have had to really step up in order to keep pace with this technology. You have to be able to look at a set of books and see if something doesn't look right, because as good as these automations are, sometimes things get mapped wrong. Sometimes the robot might say, oh, this is this kind of expense, when actually it's something completely different in the books. So I really want to address that fear, because I think it's an unfounded fear. I do think that there is a segment of the client base out there who thinks that, you know, the robot can do it all for them. The automation can do all the bookkeeping for them, and they don't need a bookkeeper or an accountant. But it's only a matter of time before they determine how much they do need us. So embrace the technology, because it makes the drudge work of our jobs easier. And
it appears that you've paused on us. I see that you're still there, but I'm not hearing you right now. So we appear to have cut you off midstream. Are you still there, Billie Anne? It's saying she's there, so I'm not sure if she's having technical difficulties, but let me just kind of chime in on this. One of the things that's happening within the accounting profession is, as transactions are being automated, the role, I think, of the bookkeeper is evolving and changing. But her point is very true. It's not that the position is going to be eliminated. One of the things that I believe we need to recognize is there's truth in accounting being the language of business. It is the language of business. And so, being that that's how the company communicates to its owner, we have to recognize that there's always going to be a need for an interpreter. There's always going to be a need for the business owner who's great at whatever they do, product or service they're providing, in helping them actually. I think this is her calling in. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't get her to come in that way. So what my point was is simply to say, here she is. She's back.
I was trying to call you. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. We were hearing you, and then all of a sudden you got cut off. But what I was just doing is complimenting your line of thought that accounting is the language of business, and the role of the accountant or bookkeeper to interpret for the business owner what that information is will always remain. I think what's happening with technology is the ability to accelerate how quickly that data is available for the business owner, that it becomes not a historical document, but now a real-time document, that the financials aren't from last month, last quarter, but we're looking at things more and more real time, is what the technology affords us. And what the business clients are going to want to know is, does the accountant or bookkeeper have the familiarity with the different services or technologies out there to be able to recommend which one my company should be using? Should I be using eSheet? Should I be using Xero? Should I be using QuickBooks? Should I be using whatever of the technologies? Which should I be using? But at the end of the day, they still need us to interpret the information.
They do. Yeah, yeah, a robot's not going to be able to do that. An automation isn't going to be able to interpret that. It can produce the reports, but those reports are only as good as the interpretation of the reports.
So with your point being that the change will come in the accounting profession, we will see those changes happening, but the accountant or bookkeeper will remain relevant is, I think, an important takeaway from this discussion, because I think there is a future for the accounting profession. It's just a question of whether or not you're going to adapt and learn as you should, so that you're able to remain that premier accounting service in your market, which is what we obviously work with our graduates to help them do, remain relevant and become that premier accounting service. So here's my next question for you. You're obviously working with your clients, you have your own practice, working with your clients, with your business, but you're also now at Profit First Professional. Share with us what that role looks like and what you're doing there to help accounting professionals.
Yeah, so I've been with Profit First Professionals as a strategic guide for 2.5 months now. And what that means is I help bookkeepers, accountants, and business coaches help their clients become more profitable, leading them through the Profit First methodology, helping them overcome those limiting beliefs and those objections, because Profit First is different. You know, we've had a bunch of different objections, from I'm not profitable yet, why do I need Profit First, to I'm making more than enough money, why do I need Profit First? So helping people help people. I love helping people. So now I have a way to help more bookkeepers and accountants help more clients, much more than what, you know, even if I grew my business to 100 times the size that it currently is, I'm having more of an impact than what I'd be able to have just working alone.
Well, one of the things I'm excited to share is you're a graduate of Universal Accounting with the Professional Bookkeeper program. You're obviously a practitioner of Profit First. You understand its nuances, and you're coaching individuals in the implementation of it. And the beauty of it then is for our graduates, those who enroll with Universal Accounting and who also strive to become Profit First professionals, one of the things that we do is we offer coaching. And Billie Anne, I understand that you could be one of those coaches that they may be able to work with. Isn't that right?
Yeah, there are 3 of us at Profit First Home Base. We're called guides or coaches, and I'm one of them. So yeah, that's it's definitely a possibility that I could be in fact, I'm already working with a couple of, or one Universal accountant that I know of, for sure.
I love it. One of the things that we here at Universal Accounting really strive to emphasize, because I really feel it differentiates us, is not just the training we offer, but the coaching that you receive. It's really the hand-holding, the advice, the coaching, that where a person can get for 12, 18, 24 months, a wonderful relationship with a professional that's doing like you. It is powerful. So imagine an individual who's either starting or building a practice, acquiring clients, working with business owners, and they get a chance to, while they're doing it, work with someone like you, work with you specifically, where you have started a practice, you do have clients, you are a bookkeeping provider, you are an accountant, you are a Profit First professional. And that's, I think, a peace of mind that a lot of business owners will come from Universal Accounting experiencing, is they get to work with someone that's already gone down this path. You are that mentor that they're looking for and needing. And I just love that. I think that's just amazing. So let me just kind of wrap this up with a few final questions. One of them that I think is key is, what kind of story might you have of where you feel as an accountant you've actually helped a business owner in their business? What story might you be able to share how you feel that it wasn't just professionally, but perhaps even personally, it made a difference in someone's business or life?
I took a local business that their idea of having a cushion was having next month's rent sitting in their bank account. That was $3,600 during the slow season, which is the summer. Sometimes it got down to like $300 in their bank account, and it was scary. Using Profit First, and then also getting buy-in from one of the partners in the business. Now a bad month for them is having $20,000 sitting in the bank account, in all of their bank accounts together, all their Profit First accounts. So huge peace of mind. They don't have to worry anymore about, are we going to have to chip in money from our personal accounts to make rent so we can, keep our business open? Are we going to be able to pay the people who work for us to provide our services so we can keep providing our services? So, you know, they're not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but there's that peace of mind that really helps them stay on top of their game and focus on what they want to focus on, which is serving their customers.
And that, I think, peace of mind is invaluable. I think at the end of the day, just the business owner being able to sleep at night is a huge accomplishment. That's a success that they can take to the bank, if you will. Here's the other question. Profit first, as sexy as it is from a marketing point of view, as a differentiator, as compelling as it is for the business owner to hear that they can put a priority on and have profit be first, as great as it is, I know some accountants struggle with the differentiator, the way that it actually kind of challenges the traditional accounting model. So as a bookkeeper, as an accountant, I want to just kind of pick your brain. How did your ability to embrace the profit first philosophy happen? And do you have any thoughts there?
There wasn't much of a mindset shift that I had to make because I could see where what I was doing was not serving the clients to the best of my ability. We're not asking you to throw out the accounting model. You know, one of the things that we do is, you know, you may have heard Mike Michalowicz say GAAP is crap. You know, the generally accepted accounting principles. You know, that's a way to get attention. And really, what it means is when you take that equation, sales minus expenses equals profit, and it makes profit a leftover, and we don't have much left over. Well, that's a crappy way to run your business. So sales minus profit equals expenses. It makes more sense. But we're not asking anybody to change the way that they do their bookkeeping or accounting. Everything stays the same there. We are leveraging the business owner's mindset about their cash, and we're calling their cash their profit to help them think about their business in a healthier way. You know, probably the worst thing that anybody has ever taught anyone is you have to spend money to make money, because while it's true that you have to make investments to make your business grow, I know so many business owners who say, oh, well, that's just kind of my go ahead to go and spend any amount of money that I want for any reason because I have to spend money to make money. Profit first helps business owners think a little bit more clearly about that and make those wiser decisions. It's almost like a reverse budget in that you spend what's left over as opposed to spend everything that comes in.
Well said. That is wonderful. Yeah, one of the things that I always have as a conversation is people think that we're trying to change the books and there's a different accounting system, or the balance sheet's going to look differently, or the income statement is going to be done differently. None of that happens. But what we do with profit is change, as you said, the mindset, and we make it a priority. We make it something that we're working towards intelligently. And it's something that when you put the attention there, it then is more likely to happen. And it's not an afterthought. It's not an accident. And that, as an accountant, I think is a huge accomplishment, that you're able to go to the client and say that you're emphasizing accounting first. And that is your priority that you're going to have with them, is to ensure that they are in fact profitable. Well, for the business owner, it's hooray, end of day, I'm excited to work with you, because that's what I'd love to see at the end of the day, and have that peace of mind. So in closing, what I'd like to do is just share that, having listened to this broadcast and participated in this webinar, we have two things to offer. One, we would invite you to come learn more about Profit First and how you can actually use this as part of your firm in not only just finding clients as part of your marketing strategy, retaining clients, having a much better and engaged relationship with them, but last of all, get paid additional for your services as that consultant, advisor, Profit First professional, basically offering additional services for which you can get paid, and get paid what you're worth. And really, I think that's just the culmination of all this. So come learn more about becoming a Profit First professional. Just below this, you'll actually see a link to learn more of how you can actually use this in your firm and apply these principles and grow in your practice. But the second thing is a special offer is with Billie Anne, we're able to offer the ebook of Profit First. So if you've not read Mike Michalowicz's book, Profit First, and can see how this can actually help you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, but also with your clients, working with those that are running their own companies, read Profit First. Get exposed to this. Understand what it is. It's a phenomenal mind shift, I think, within the business world, and it's something you need to be aware of. And I think it's something you'll find you can naturally embrace and take to the bank. So that's one of the things I'd like to share. So, Billie Anne, do you have any other closing thoughts that you'd like to mention?
No, you just like you said, read the ebook. It's an easy read. It's not your typical accounting book. I used to read to fall asleep at night, and Profit First kind of kept me awake because I was laughing. It was entertaining, but it was so powerful too. So yeah, just I hope that you take this step to differentiate yourself, or any step really to differentiate yourself, because accountants and bookkeepers are so critical to the success of small business owners, and we want our small business owners to be successful.
Beautiful. So to wrap this up, thank you everyone for listening in and participating. I'm so pleased to have had Billie Anne here. One, I'm proud of her as a graduate. I'm so excited to have heard about her journey and her successes. But as many of you may be able to identify, she, like you, was working, didn't see herself as an entrepreneur, but life experiences found herself being able to take on clients and go from a part-time firm with clients on the side to something full-time, very successful. And to differentiate her firm, chose to use Profit First as something specific that she could be able to offer her clients to find and retain those that she's working with, and most importantly, get paid what she's worth. So congratulations to you, Billie Anne, and say hello to the team back there at Profit First. And we're excited to have individuals enroll here with Universal Accounting and take advantage of the opportunity to become Profit First professionals as well. And I look forward to them working with you as their guide and coach and advisor, and most importantly, mentor, having done this by yourself as well. So with that, thank you everyone for joining us. Have a wonderful day. And Billie Anne, thank you for your time. Take care.
Thanks, Roger.